From Persia to Iran, it's a fascinating story. You've probably heard both names, right? But have you ever stopped to wonder why the country we know as Iran today was called Persia for, well, most of history? Today, we're going to dive into how a whole nation changed its name and what that simple act really meant. So, did you know that Iran wasn't always called Iran, at least not to the rest of the world? It's kind of wild to think about. For centuries, pretty much the entire world knew this nation by one name. But here's the kicker. That name wasn't what the people living there actually called it. And this really gets to the heart of it. It's like there were two different realities happening at once. On one side, you've got Persia. That's the name the rest of the world used for centuries, rooted way back in Greek and Roman history. But on the other side, you have Iran. And that's the name the people of the land actually used for themselves. So the big question is, how did the world's name for this place finally catch up with what the locals were calling it all along? Yeah, that name Persia, it's got some serious history. We're talking ancient roots passed down from the Greeks and the Romans. For thousands of years, if you looked at a map in the West or opened a history book, that's the name you'd see. It was just the accepted fact. But then, everything changes. We land in one specific pivotal year, 1935. A single announcement comes out, and it's about to completely change how the world talks about this ancient nation. Forever. You can really see it laid out here. For just ages, it's Persia, Persia, Persia. And then, bam, 1935 hits. It's this sharp, decisive break. From that point on, the official name is Iran. I mean, talk about a dramatic shift in the story, right? So who is behind this? Well, the man right at the center of this change was the nation's leader at the time, Reza Shah Pahlavi. He basically looked at the situation and decided, you know what? It's time. It's time for the world to see our country the way we see it. And he didn't beat around the bush. His request was incredibly direct. He went to all the foreign embassies, to the entire international community, and said, basically, stop using Persia and start calling the country Iran. Just like that. It sounds like a simple request, but wow, the implications were huge. Okay, so that leads to the obvious question. Why? Why Iran? And why in 1935? This wasn't just him picking a name out of a hat. No, the name Iran is so deeply rooted in the nation's own history and its own language. And here's the key. The word Iran actually comes from this ancient term that means land of the Aryans. This connects the nation way back to its deep Indo-Iranian heritage. And get this wasn't some new name they just made up. It's a name with roots that go back thousands of years. It's actually way older than the name Persia. So let's be super clear on this because it's the most important part. Reza Shah wasn't inventing anything new. He was just asking the world to finally use the name that his people had always been using for their own home. It was all about aligning the outside perception with the inside reality. And that right there, that gets to the absolute heart of the matter. This was never just about changing a word. It was this hugely powerful symbolic act that was packed with deep emotional and, political meaning for the whole nation. First and foremost, it was about identity. Think about it. This was a massive declaration. It was them standing up and saying to the entire world, hey, call us by our name, not the name that outsiders gave us. It was all about self-definition, but on a global stage. And right along with that, it was about pride, a huge expression of national pride. By making this ancient local name the official one, the nation was reconnecting with its long pre-Islamic history. It was about asserting its place in the modern world, but doing it on their own terms. And finally, it really signaled a fresh start. You have to remember, this name change was just one piece of a much bigger push for modernization that was happening under Reza Shah. So it was this symbolic break from the past, an era of a lot of foreign influence, and a big step towards a more independent, self-determined future. And just like that, the transition was complete. The world slowly but surely started to adopt the new name, or I guess you could say the very old name. And Persia officially became Iran in the eyes of the whole global community. So if we just recap the whole journey, it's pretty clear, right? You start with this weird situation of two names for one place, the global name Persia and the local name Iran.
Then you get the big, decisive announcement in 1935. And it all ends with this ancient name being reclaimed, finally, bringing the global and the local identities together under one single banner: Iran.
It really makes you think, what's in a name? Well, as this story shows us, for an entire nation, a name can be, well, it can be a reflection of its soul. It's a declaration of identity. It's a bridge that connects an ancient past with a modern future. Sometimes a name really can be everything.